But John, if you would, man, kind of take us back, take us through a little bit the history of Al Vans and your story, and it'll kind of
Sure.
help lay some of the context here for what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try not to bore people with my my full life story, but try to stick to the more interesting parts. But kind of how I ended up here with Owl. I started out kind of doing the normal path. You know, my dad was a electrical engineer turned kind of Stanford MBA type in business, and it just the desk job never really worked for me. I went through the kind of the standard route, and was all my friends were getting jobs in finance and moving to Manhattan and stuff like that. And meanwhile, in my summers between school, I would always go. I took ASC mechanics classes just to kind of learn how to wrench on vehicles just for fun. And then also my uncle was a Navy SEAL turned deep sea oil rig welder. So about as much of a badass as you can be. And so I would spend summers with him learning how to weld and fabricate and work on things. And if you think you work hard, go work for a Navy SEAL and you'll get humbled real fast. So he kicked my butt and taught me how to work with metal. And then, you know, I had actually I was living in Austin at the time and was doing a lot of motorcycle racing. So I was one of the first folks to have a Sprinter van. And I would go to the track in it. I'd use it as my vehicle to transport my motorcycles, and then I would sleep in it and wrench out of it, etc. And nobody really made anything that I felt was either good enough quality or made any sense from a monetary standpoint. The stuff was super overpriced and I didn't think it was very good. So built a lot of stuff myself. And then I would constantly get asked by people, hey, where'd you get that? Where can I buy that? And, you know, I said, well, you can't. I made it. And then they'd be like, can you make it for me? And I'd be like, no. And then I would go on with my day. And then finally my previous business, which I actually made photography equipment for the Apple store. So worked directly with Apple. So that really helped me refine my aesthetics and my quality. Because, you know, if anyone knows, if you work with Apple, it's got to be as good a quality as possible. So
sure.
I ended up selling that business, and then I was like, you know, what should I do with my time? And I started making a lot more stuff for the Sprinter. And they always say it's better to be lucky than good. And so I'll take a win with timing. It was just kind of on the very beginning side of the whole adventure van segment. And I had started off making these tire carriers. And, you know, some folks online were like, hey, you should really think about turning this into a business. So I said, okay, enough people have asked me, I'll make like 20 of these things and then we'll call it a day. And then they were sold out in 24 hours.
Nice.
And I thought I had overpriced them. And so I'm like, wow, okay, I'll make a few more. And then they sold out in the next few days. So I said, okay, there's definitely untapped demand here. And I would say from that moment where I was keeping my neighbors wide awake early in the morning with my grinding and cutting and so on, to the point now where we have 7 locations and we're the largest aftermarket manufacturer for Sprinter vans, was about 6 years.